The right guard, number 58, Connor Hinman. And at right tackle, number 79, Leon Williams. The kicker is Matthew Mason. The long snapper is Brett Woolsey. And the returner is David Smith. And now, please turn your attention to the scoreboard for your Alma College projected starters.
On the defensive line,
Jerome Robertson, Pontiac, Michigan.
Lance Rademacher, Westphalia, Michigan.
Evan Makiva, Midland, Michigan.
Jalen Doherty, Detroit, Michigan.
At linebacker,
Odin Safardini, Traverse City, Michigan.
Eli Jackson, Morristown, Michigan.
Gage Johnson, Standish, Michigan.
at defensive back,
Drew Home, Alma, Michigan. Austin Flowers, Muskegon, Michigan.
Jack Crushmore, Marine City, Michigan.
Connor Duma, Ada, Michigan.
on the offensive line,
Braden Henderson, Millington, Michigan.
Zach Post, Lowell, Michigan.
Alex Dean, Shelby, Michigan.
Reese Townsend, Portland, Michigan.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Alma Scots football live on Q104.9 WQBX with live video streaming at almascots.com. Tonight, live from Balky Field, it's a non-conference matchup between the Alma Scots and the Manchester Spartans. I'm Jeff Somerville, Topher Goggin alongside as we welcome you into the Mercantile Bank Scots pregame show. And Toph, both of these teams come in here 1-0 on the season. The Scots off a huge overtime win down at Ohio Northern last Saturday. What can we expect here tonight?
Well, you know, hope springs eternal in the fall for all football teams, and it's still alive after 1 week for both of these squads. You know, I think the casual fan may have looked at Alma's win last week, especially if they were watching throughout, and said, "Ooh, where's the offense?" Not recognizing how good of a football team Ohio Northern in all likelihood is. Playing in a very strong conference down there. It's a team that returned 18 starters from a squad that only lost by 7 to mighty Mount Union. And the Scots went down there, not only took Ohio Northern, the Polar Bears, to overtime, but beat them in overtime. And it was immediately a showcase of what we expect to be the centerpiece of this Scots crew, their defense. 3 first-half turnovers forced once again, back from a team that forced, you count them, 40 turnovers last year in a 10-game season. That's unheard of.
Yes, it is.
Big plaque down in the athletic department for turnover margin last year, where the Scots led the country at plus 2.2 per game. And they did that again in that first half. But for some field goal kicking struggles, that might have been a little easier victory. But the Scots also discovered something offensively with Carter St. John, the freshman quarterback, who will get the start today, going 5 for 10 for 147 yards. So a lot of good things coming out of there. Anytime you get a road win to start the season, you're going to be happy.
Oh, for sure.
On the other side of the field, similar happiness from Manchester. They went 3-7 a year ago, ended their season with a win against Anderson. Start this year in Chicago with a victory over North Park. Talked to Coach Nate Jensen, who of course is a former Alma assistant. Very pleased with the team's effort.
Sure.
And looking to get things started. They are haven't had that through successful. They've always been very, very tough, but looking to kind of through to that next level. And obviously, when you go on to win, feel like you may well be able to do that. It's 3 road games to start the season for Manchester this year. If they could come away with a second victory tonight, they would, of course, be delighted, but the Scots want to have a thing or two to say about that.
The Scots will certainly have a thing or two to say about that in front of a huge crowd here at Balky Field this evening. I think that the heat is going to play a factor in this one. I said the same thing in the pregame show last night when we did a high school game here, and I was correct, so I might as well say the same thing tonight. Maybe I go 2 for 2.
Sorry, excuse me. I had a little trouble with that declaration.
I really do believe that heat will play a factor tonight as far as cramping goes, because it is really, really hot up here. It may play a factor in our video streaming as well, as it's even hotter in the press box than it is up here on top of the press box, and I know they're having trouble keeping the computers cooled off and things like that. So everybody will do the best they can, and you know, if you don't happen to be able to get it on the live video, if you lose that and are living somewhere outside of our listening area, just go to WQBX.biz and click that Listen Live tab. You can hear that anywhere in the world, and you know, we'll do our best to describe the action to the folks. Hope get a Scots win here.
84 degrees the temperature right now, and very, very little wind is what is causing it to feel very warm.
I think it's about 112 in the press box.
Yeah, and sun obviously still fairly high in the sky here a little before 6 o'clock, so we will have sunlight on the field probably until the 4th quarter, I would think. You'll start to get some shadows from the Stone Rec Center over to the west that start to come casting across from about the 10 to 40 yard line. Initially is where that will begin. But this is mostly going to be a sunshiny game, and as Jeff said, if the wind doesn't kick up, it's going to be hot and a good test of these teams' conditioning. Also will be a wonderful showcase in the sunlight for this new field here at Alma College. $1.5 million renovation here at Balky Field, combined renovation of the turf and the track. I had looked, I was not sure. Do you know how old the turf was here? When the last version of turf was installed, 2011. So 10 years that turf held up in very nice shape. But apparently they had some outside consultants come take a look at it, and they said, you know what, it's time. Doing that renovation has allowed a couple of changes, namely taking out a lot of the cement in the end zone areas and extending that turf-wise, which will provide major benefits to other sports. Track and field got some new compliance with the track that will allow NCAA events to be held here. So just a real, real boon and you just look at the turf, and it is gorgeous right now.
Yes, it is.
The only thing is that because of the expansion of sports that are played here with men's and women's lacrosse and so forth, there are some new lines that you've got to pay attention to. But otherwise, everybody really, really excited for the Scots to get their first crack at game speed on this turf here tonight. It's a 4-game non-conference season for Alma. 2 games here. They'll head to Anderson next week, then back home for a non-conference homecoming. It's been a while since that's happened, but Martin Luther will be your homecoming opponent in September, a team that the Scots beat on the road last year. Alma went 4-0 in the non-conference season last year en route to eventually a 5-5 season, but dropped their last 4 in what was kind of a backloaded conference schedule. Certainly things got more difficult as they went along. So Alma, sort of with twin goals this year, replicate that undefeated non-conference season and then carry it over into conference play. That being said, what a great 2 weeks it has been for MIAA football. Everybody except Adrian getting a non-conference win last week, and all teams that have completed their games today, Jeff, in the MIAA, have won. Albion defeats Bluffton 51-2.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Which is actually a familiar score because that's almost exactly the Anderson score from Alma last year, when you think about it. Olivet 54-14 over Eureka. Hope beats Co 33-24. Kalamazoo over Kenyon 24-13. And Adrian, after the loss last week, shuts out Hanover today 33-0. Trine plays a little bit later, but an excellent, excellent start for the MIAA, and I think you can expect that it's going to be a hotly contested conference once again this year. Sort of 3-way co-favorites at the top, with Hope ultimately getting the nod in the coaches' poll, but only by like a point. Alma picked 6th, but I think they would like to have a thing or two to say about that before all is said and done.
No, I think that they would as well, and I mean, just so many seniors back on this team, and now sprinkling in some freshmen here early on that are contributing in big ways, namely starting at 2 of the main skill positions today, the quarterback and the running back position, with Carter St. John and Eddie Williams. It'll be interesting to see how those 2 respond to getting the start today.
That's right. Both of those guys not really slated as starters last week. St. John came on in relief midway through. Trent Devereaux is available today, we have confirmed, if Alma needs him, but the plan is to start with St. John. Williams, meanwhile, puts up 19 carries, 78 yards. We're going to pause now for the national anthem. Dave Zerbe's Kilty Marching Band wrapping up the Star Spangled Banner. That's going to wrap up the Mercantile Bank Scots pregame show. We'll take a quick break. 4.5 minutes till kickoff back here on Q104.9 and almascots.com right after this. Captains on their way to midfield here at Alma College. Jack Kretschmar, Zach Post, Evan Mativa, and Tyler Walters representing the Scots as the 4 captains. Today, a couple of permanent captains, couple of game captains. Manchester sends out 2, and we'll have a coin toss and some football between these 2 longtime rivals that have played some thrillers, both here and down in Indiana over the years. Last year, a game that was, if we could possibly replicate some of that excitement, it will be unheard of. 47-23 the final, but that resulted because of Alma scoring 28 points, Jeff, in 2 minutes and 35 seconds late in the game. Just an incredible explosion, a score, an onside kick, another touchdown, so 2 scores 6 seconds apart.
That's
and then
crazy.
2 more scores in under 3 total minutes. Just a flurry of points. I remember I was watching that game on and off in my kitchen.
Right.
And I missed most of that sequence, and I came back and I thought there was an error on the score on the board. And no, I just basically missed all the excitement. Manchester has won the toss and deferred, so we will see the Scots offense and Carter St. John. And one thing you can bet here is I'm thinking that Manchester will probably not kick to Devin Frenchco.
We'll find out in just a second, won't we?
Frenchco, 2 kickoff return touchdowns, totaling 198 yards on those, over 200 kick return yards in total last year, 210 yards, including, like I said, 98 and 100 to the house, as Alma started the season as the top special teams unit in the country for quite a while. Frenchco will be back deep, but I would assume that we will see Matthew Mason kick it anywhere but to number 8.
Well, we're going to find out real quickly here.
Alma winners last week, 16-13 against Ohio Northern in overtime. Manchester went to North Park in Greater Chicago, won 23-14. Manchester 3-7 a year ago. The Scots 5-5. Buddy Hogan goes back deep along with Frenchco. Hogan in number 15 this week. That's a change because the Scots intend to use him offensively. He wore number 2 last week, but they can't put him out there offensively because David Reif is already number 2.
Yeah, there would be potential for them to be on the field at the same time in a short yardage situation when the Scots like to bring Reif in at quarterback.
Yep, and that, of course, would result in a penalty if that was the way that that played out. Manchester ready to kick things away. This is actually a backup kicker, I do believe, that we are seeing here.
We've got things stopped here briefly.
Yep, that's Aiden Beachy, number 42, and the officials looking to get the clock set, which is still counting.
Yeah, we're not
down.
ready to play ball just yet.
4 seconds running down. A huge host of recruits here, and of course a huge roster on the sideline. Practice on the roster for Jason Couch. Coach Couch in his 5th season, 7th year for Nate Jensen on the Manchester sidelines, and we are ready to go as Beachy boots it away. This is indeed in the direction of Hogan, who loops under it, drops it at the hands of Frenchco instead. He'll burst outside at the 20. He loses the football, but it goes out of bounds. So the Scots managed to fumble twice in the course of 1 return, but they will start at about the 23-yard line with freshman quarterback Carter St. John.
Well, they averted disaster there at least.
Scots did turn it over 3 times themselves last week, forcing 3 turnovers. 332 yards of offense overall for Alma. St. John will come out, twin receivers and trains to both sides of the field, and Williams in the backfield gets the opening carry. Heads right up the middle into the arms of multiple Spartan tacklers. No gain on that one.
Not a ton there.
Extremely experienced offensive line for Alma. Alex Dean back at center, a 5th-year senior. Braden Henderson, Zach Post on the left side of the line. Both multi-year starters. Quick throw on 2nd down, caught by Cole Thomas, and he's going to have 1st down yardage and more. Took Thomas a long time last year to get back into the form that we'd seen from a couple seasons ago, but he's got things rolling. Had an 8-yard catch against Manchester last week and opens the game with a quick 1st down grab, and the Scots look to go up tempo.
They're moving quickly here, yep.
Now, sometimes this is a bit of a bluff, and they'll get to the line of scrimmage and then reset. But in this case, they're going to go. Play action fake, rolling. St. John just going to drop it off. Nate Webb, the big tight end, with the catch, and he barrels for another 1st down into Manchester territory at the 48.
He got a lovely block out on the perimeter by Ty Lauderman.
Webb had the 45-yard touchdown grab in the 4th quarter that gave the Scots a 10-3 lead last week. Snaps it again, going very up-tempo, rolling right. St. John throws underneath, caught again. Webb again, 35, stood up there and brought down at the 34, but Alma's got the offense humming, and the tempo is high. Jamal Hubbard in on that tackle.
Yeah, very impressive to see a freshman running it as quickly as what St. John is right now. They are flying out there.
Right to the line. Trio of receivers come to the right, handoff. Williams steps inside of a tackle, now
Look
bursts
out.
outside of the 35, 25, and off he goes. Eddie Williams is going to score, and the Scots in 1 minute and 19 seconds have taken the lead.
33-yard touchdown run for Eddie Williams, and the left side of that offensive line just crashed it down. Williams needed to make one cut about 5 yards upfield, went back to the middle of the field, and he was long gone. What a drive by the Scots. Holy moly.
Josh Hernandez on for the PAT. Gage Kruger will hold. Kicking was the one adventure for Alma last week. One block,
The field
3
goals
misses.
that Hernandez missed were long ones, though.
And the extra point up and through, 7-0. Alma strikes first and strikes in a hurry. We'll be back to Balky Field right after this. Alma leads 7-0 on Eddie Williams' 33-yard touchdown run. Caleb Kinsvatter booms the kickoff into the end zone.
Yeah, we might not have mentioned, the Scots have the wind here in the first quarter.
They do. Well, Kinsvatter had no trouble. 2 of 3 kickoffs were touchbacks last week as well. There wasn't much wind to be worth talking about. We get a little bit of breeze up here high atop the press box.
Yeah, the flags on the goalposts aren't moving a whole lot.
No. But no return from Manchester. They'll start on the 25, and that means we see quarterback Trevor O'Brien out of Vero Beach, a 6'3", 190-pound sophomore. Limited to only 8 attempts last year by some injuries. The backup, Eric James, played more. He was 46 of 91. So he's waiting in the wings, though. O'Brien got the start last week, 14 of 22 for 168 and a score.
See what this huge Manchester offensive line can do.
Averaging 301 pounds across the front. They want to throw on first down high over the middle, and a one-handed try tipped up in the air and eventually picked off by Kretschmar. One play, one turnover. The tip drill does not pan out for Manchester.
It was nearly a spectacular one-handed catch by Cam Hall.
Hall had it again, never quite squeezed it, and the next thing you know, it went from one number 7 to the other, and Chet Kretschmar, who had 6 interceptions last year and took 3 back to the house, adds yet another to his tally.
Kretschmar, preseason, first-team All-American for Division III football, and first pick of the year. He recovered a fumble and forced one last week as well, living up to that preseason billing. That time it was, look what I found.
Scots had 2 interceptions last week, both of those coming from Bryce Friedenberg. But now Kretschmar in on it, and Alma comes right back out offensively at their own 39 with the 7-0 lead. 2 receivers to the right, Thomas at a wing, and St. John takes the snap. It's a reverse trick play to Frenchco going back to the left, and Manchester there for it. They quickly gave it to Williams going right, tossed it back to Frenchco going left, and he's going to lose about a yard.
Very well defensed right there.
Manchester
Nicely
got
done.
a great defensive performance last week from Jamal Hubbard. 15 tackles and an interception returned for a touchdown. Named the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week, 2nd and 11 for Alma. Williams right up the middle this time into many, many arms. And maybe a half a yard to make it 3rd and 10 is all.
A much better go for Manchester these first 2 plays after the quick change situation. Scots are going to go quickly here, though.
Sam Huffman, Derek Doss in there on the stop for Manchester. 3rd down and 10. 3 wide to the right. St. John with a little bit of time, closed quickly over the middle, and it's complete to Thomas into Manchester territory, and it's going to take 3 Manchester Spartans to stop his forward progress. They never brought him down.
No, they didn't, and a pass right on time from Carter St. John. What a start for the freshman.
St. John won a state championship as a junior in high school. His team also won his sophomore year. Williams on first down, bounces off 2 offensive linemen, heads to his right, and runs downhill to the 39. That's a pickup of 6 more.
Well, St. John has not missed yet through the air. 4 for 4 for 60 yards. Give Williams 41 yards on 4 carries himself.
Offense is going to get worn out at this pace. Twin receivers to the right, Goralski and Lauderman. All kinds of time for St. John. He'll check it down, caught by Kruger underneath, pushed out of bounds at the 25.
Look at that offensive line. St. John could build a small house down there.
Experience that we talked about. The 2 returners on the left side, Dean at center, and then Ethic Gurnick and Reese Townsend holding down the fort on the right-hand side. Handoff, Williams gets outside to the left. This will be first down yardage, I think.
Unfortunately, the Scots did not have enough men on the line of scrimmage, and this is going to come back 5 yards.
There's a flag hidden by a hat on my view, but you can see it right there at the 25.
We'll get the call here. Maybe.
Illegal formation, 5 in the backfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And
really the first stumble for the Scots of the whole game.
We diagnosed that one right. The student section boos the call.
Well, they got to get warmed up. They haven't had much to boo yet.
No, certainly not.
11:53 left in the first quarter, 7-0 Scots. They've already got it back off a turnover. Alma forced 5 Manchester turnovers last year. Play action fake, quick bubble screen. Leaping grab by Lauderman, but a lot of traffic over there as there was a sea of receivers lined up to block, but that brought a sea of defensive backs as well. And a loss, maybe a gain of a yard, I think. 2nd and 14.
And an entire new receiving core coming on for the Scots here. 5 new wideouts.
We are getting some reports of video issues, and if you weren't with us earlier, we've heard that the computer
I'm watching it. It looks nice.
Overheating. So if you're having any trouble, you can go to the audio stream. Vern Smith with the carry on 2nd and long for the Scots. He's got a big hole up the middle, bounces to his right, and it's a Vern Smith touchdown just like that.
That one's a 29-yard touchdown run, and the right side of that O-line wanted to get in on the fun.
2 touchdowns last year for Smith, and add another one, and just like that, it is 13-0.
What a start for the Scots, as though they've been shot out of a cannon here.
Smith comes on in place of Williams, and 1 carry later, he's in the end zone. Hernandez for the PAT. Manchester nearly jumps offside, but gets back. Good protection, kick up and drilled. 14-zip Scots, less than 4 minutes into this one. Not quite as quickly as they scored in the second half last year, but a pretty good start. We'll be back right after this. Caleb Kinsvatter with his second chance to kick off, and this one 8 yards deep in the end zone. A nice retreat there to take a good look at it from David Smith, but he wasn't going to return that. A quick 14-0 Scots lead here tonight, Jeff, and things going awfully well.
Offense looks absolutely phenomenal. You're watching a very talented freshman quarterback, very talented freshman running back, but I'll tell you what's making the difference here is that offensive line, as they are standing in pass protection and in run blocking, and just incredible stuff from them so far.
Very much so. Coming up is just the second Manchester offensive play of the game, yet they find themselves down 14-0. The first was a tip drill interception picked off by Jack Kretschmar as they tried to get it in the direction of Cam Hall. Handoff, Smith on first down off right tackle. He's got a nice hole, tripped up in the secondary, but should have the first down. Kretschmar had to come up and make that stop. Smith 67 yards and a score last week.
Showed a nice burst between tackle and guard.
If anyone is out there listening to audio, looking for video, what we're hearing is that the problem may be that the feed got reset, so go to the Alma Scots YouTube page, and the video is working there if you were having problems earlier.
Yep, works good, sounds good.
From the 36, first down Manchester, down by 2 scores. Quick screen pass out in the flat and going nowhere. Leveled out there.
Gage Nelson.
Duriel Moss Jr.
Gage Nelson will lower that lumber pretty well.
Nelson, a senior now, 8 tackles last week. 3.5 of those tackles for loss, and tack on another one right there as that play goes backwards by a yard. Breeze starting to pick up, making it considerably more comfortable. Amazing what a difference that makes. 10-11 to play first quarter, 14-0 Alma. Straightaway drop, O'Brien over the middle. Leaping catch made by Hall for the first down out at the 48. Nice throw there. Caught by brought down rather by Eli Jackson.
Yep.
Fans may look and say, wait a minute. Eli Jackson on defense, and that is a change this year. He was a big, burly tight end and running back last season, but moved over onto the defensive side of the ball.
Had a nice basket full of tackles in week 1.
That was a 9-tackle basket, you're right. 4 down linemen for Alma as Manchester lines up first down at their own 48. Smith trying to get outside to the right, bursts and cannot get away from Nelson again. Gage got the ankles. Gain of a yard is all to the 49.
This Manchester offense looks decent at times. That play that they ran on the longer pass play for the first down was the same play they ran on their first play of the game that ended up getting intercepted. This one was just a little bit better throw, finding a soft spot in that Scots defense.
2nd and 9 for O'Brien. Scoops up a low snap, stands in the pocket with good protection, throws underneath. Another tip drill, but this one pulled in. That one dangerous as well. Gabe Melvin makes that catch.
Yeah, Jackson was all over him, but
Scots with wholesale defensive substitutions. Seriously, it's a whole new defense. Yeah. Which is a tough substitution to make with the ball on the far hash mark. They've got to get all the way across the field. Taking advantage of relatively low tempo so far from Manchester. 3rd down and 5. Manchester needs to pick this up, trailing 14-0 early. O'Brien from the gun, and now a whistle.
Scots pointed immediately. I think the center might have pump faked the football.
Wayne Vaughn, the 300-pound center down there.
Full start. Offense, number 72.
And that's exactly who it was.
3rd down.
3rd down becomes a bit more challenging, backing up into 3rd and a full 9.
Sanderson was right over the ball, and he was immediately pointing.
Student section stomping. 3rd down and 9 for Manchester here midway through the first quarter. 14-0 Alma so far. Pressure comes, standing in a wobbly throw and incomplete. Multiple Scots there, led by Sanderson along with Hogan in the backfield.
I think he was hit as he threw. That was
Robertson was in there as well.
It was Alec Koval in there defensively.
I think that actually is Buddy Hogan. Remember, we've had that jersey change to 15, and I assume that Hogan continues to play defensively. I don't know that for sure, because we do now have conflicting number 15s. Punt formation on 4th and 9. And a high, short punt. Not going to go very far for Matthew Mason. Takes a favorable bounce out of bounds, but Alma will get good field position again.
Like the 37, they're going to say?
About right. 8:19 to go first quarter, 14-0. Scots up and sending the offense right back out there.
It's never good news for the folks down in the press box when the panel is off the air conditioner up here.
So out trots the offense once again. Eddie Williams back in there at running back after Vern Smith came in for one play and ended up in the end zone immediately. Also see Tommy Johnstone for the first time in the right-hand slot. Play action fake, St. John's to throw. Slings it over the middle, and it's caught by Johnstone into Manchester territory at the 48.
Carter St. John just putting the ball where everybody else isn't. 7 for 7 now. And they're ready to go.
Awfully good start. Quick snap again. Williams to the left. Spinning and tackled quickly at the 46. Looked like he might whirly-gig right out of that one, but not able to get away from Jamal Hubbard. Alma continues to go up tempo. 2nd down and 7. Williams again cuts back on a little zone play to the right. Down to the 42.
Good job by Williams to take what the defense is giving him on those cutbacks right now.
We'll settle in at 3rd down and 4 for the Scots. Johnstone, Kruger split wide to the right, and Alma ready to go. Webb at a wing on the right. St. John to throw. Little flare pass caught by Williams back at the 45. Down to the 40. Steps outside 35. Down towards the 30. Has the first down and then some. And the Scots just moving like a well-oiled machine.
Now that they are. St. John now 8 of 8 for 103 yards.
Here comes Buddy Hogan into the backfield for his potentially first carry of the year if they happen to give it to him. Kruger's late to get into position to the left, but they signal the ball ready for play, and here go the Scots. St. John lobbing it down the seam, and it's caught by Johnstone in double coverage for a touchdown. The DBs didn't have time to look back.
No, they didn't.
And St. John's threaded the needle. It's another Scots score. There is a flag on the far sideline.
Might not have gotten them lined up right.
Alma was struggling with the late shift from Kruger, and that may pull this score off the board.
I think so. It's a very late shift.
Valayer downfield. Number 82 was covered up. Offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That was just late getting on the field, I think, more than anything.
Let's explain what happened there to the fans. Gage Kruger came over and lined up along the line of scrimmage. The receiver to the outside of him was also on the line of scrimmage, which makes Kruger ineligible as a receiver. Now, he didn't catch the ball, but he did go downfield. That makes him an ineligible receiver downfield. That's the flag. He should have been a step back off the line of scrimmage, which is where you can see him right now, to the top side of the field if you're watching the video feed.
Well, it's going to take a 30-yard touchdown off the board.
This gives the Scots a chance to pick up a 35-yard touchdown the way things are going. 7:19 to play, 2nd and 15. Here's Hogan, sidestep in the backfield, nosing his way through a hole. Not much space there. He's going to get 3 down to the 33. Alma will switch back. Smith will come in. Goralski in. Webb subs out. Also see Noah Jansen from Matawan check out.
It's a 3rd and long situation. Might try a field goal with a tiny breeze behind you.
Very well could, especially if you picked up just a couple of yards. A little awkward pre-snap action, but the play goes on. St. John now in trouble. Steps up, throws up a wobbler, and it's well out of bounds as well it should have been.
Good throwaway there, though.
Everything just a little off to the start of that. I thought we had sort of dueling flinches on the left side of the offensive line, right side of the defensive line. And everybody kind of stumbled over each other, and St. John just heaved it to the sideline. 4th down and 12.
Tend to agree with that. No special teams yet. St. John saying leave us on the field.
Would be about a 49-yard field goal attempt. Remember, Hernandez last week, 1 of 5 on field goal attempts. He's looked just fine on the 2 extra
It's only
points.
3rd down. The downs marker was wrong.
There's the answer. Back from the negated touchdown, and that's where we lost track. Smith, the running back, set up to the right of St. John in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers go left, 3rd and 12. Thrown a little square in, caught by Lauderman, and he fumbles the football inside the 5, and the Scots fall on it. Cole Thomas there to save the day.
Oh, Johnny on the spot. Cole Thomas. Lauderman got hit pretty good down there. Fumbled the football. Thomas is on it at the 5. 1st and goal, Scots. Call it the 6. Good job by Thomas. There were 2 Spartans and only 1 Scot. Cole Thomas knew what to do.
Alma overloads the field to the right on 1st and goal. Hand off Smith, who wants to go left, one-on-one, and it's going to be tough to bring Vern Smith down in that situation, and Manchester can't do it. It's an Alma touchdown.
2nd touchdown run of the afternoon, evening for Vern Smith. This one from 6 yards out. And the Scots pouring it on in the first quarter, 20-0.
Smith going with the old 100% carries to touchdowns
Yes, he
ratio,
is.
which is impressive.
You want to maintain that for as long as you can, especially if you're getting carries.
Right. Yeah, 20 carry game would be make it a really good idea. JB Couch will snap it back here on the extra point. Good snap, good hold. Kick is just fine. 21-0 Alma. Still 6:26 to play in the first quarter. We'll be back. Still 6:26 to go in the first quarter, and it's 21-0 Alma. 3 possessions, 3 scores, despite a touchdown being taken off the board by a penalty. Alma says no problem, regroups, scores anyway. Kinsvatter has boomed the first kickoffs nearly through the end zone. And now gets his 3rd try. Same general angle, this one a little bit shorter and returnable for David Smith from the goal line. Cuts back into the middle of the field, hit at the 12 and brought down right there. Nothing doing for David Smith. And good kick coverage from the Alma Scots.
Colin Johnston, a freshman out of Cadillac.
Makes him part of a Cadillac squad that was very, very successful. Went to the state finals in the 2020 and 21 season before losing to Detroit Country Day. Blake Swiger on the Scots roster, also from Cadillac. And the Scots defense will trot back out, having forced an interception and a punt so far, and now Manchester starts with their worst field position of the day.
Still 6:21 to go in the first quarter.
And off, David Smith working to his right, gets outside the numbers and tripped up across the 15, falls forward to about the 17. Austin Flowers on that tackle for Alma.
Smith has had some success.
We've not seen either of the other 2 primary backs in terms of Jalen Love and Dave Paul that we expect to get a glimpse of at some point along the way. Moss in the slot to the left, now on 2nd down and 7, 21-0 Alma. Smith again, stutter step at the line of scrimmage, now into the second level and off to the races. Good tackle by Flowers at the 31. Otherwise, David Smith would have had a lot of real estate in front of him.
Yeah, Smith had 3 carries, 15 yards, and just doubled that total right there. Really, really good evening so far for him.
Alma held Ohio Northern, Jeff, to just 26 rushing yards last week. Manchester finding it a little easier than that on the ground, but nothing to show on the scoreboard so far, trailing 21-0. Smith working to his left. Good work by the offensive line. Cuts back. Maybe should have gone for the corner there. Only will get a yard or 2. With multiple Scots waiting. Trevor Underhill amongst the crowd. Underhill had a sack last week down against the Polar Bears. 2nd down and 9, clock runs, 5 minutes to play first quarter. All Alma so far, 21-0. Big Evan Mativa, game captain today on the left side. Tackle position along the defensive line, 4-man front for the Scots on 2nd and 9. Up the middle, nothing there for Smith this time. Driven backwards by 5 Scots.
Makes it a 3rd and long situation, and this is where the Scots kind of tend to thrive.
Soferdini in on that tackle. Odin Soferdini, Jeff, double-digit tackles in 7 of his last 11 games.
It's impressive.
Not bad, huh? Spears lost some equipment out there, but I guess the mouthpiece has it back. Not sure how good that'll taste off the new turf, but at least it's clean, right? New turf. 4:06 left in the first quarter, 3rd down and 9. O'Brien to throw, over the middle, slung, tipped and almost intercepted. Nelson had a crack at it. Friedenberg might have gotten fingertips on it. The only person who didn't touch it was Moss, the intended receiver.
Well, that forces a punting situation regardless, so.
Goralski will go back deep to return for Alma. Was not able to break anything in the return game last week, just a 3-yard average. Mason struggled punting, the Mount Blanchard, Ohio product, just a 23.3-yard average, and didn't get a lot of the first one here tonight. Snap handcuffs him a little bit of pressure, wobbly punt, gonna land at the 45, bounce forward, so Goralski takes it at the 40, and here he goes. Across midfield, down the sideline, pulled out of bounds at the 43 of Manchester, but about a 17-yard return from Nate Goralski.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of option other than to just field that because it was coming up right to him. Did a good job, knew right where to go with it.
Scots with numbers on the sides of their helmets this year. Traditional maroon jerseys for this first home game. Remember, the next home game in 2 weeks against Martin Luther is homecoming. A little bit earlier homecoming just because of the way the weeks fall. The Scots will not be at home again after that until October 15th. And I think the powers that be elected to bet on weather in September, and we shall see how that guess plays out.
Tonight would have been nice.
Yeah. From the 42-yard line, Hogan on first down for Alma, runs left, picks up a yard is all. Hauled down pretty quickly out there.
Good pursuit that time by Sam Huffman.
Huffman, a Bremen, Indiana native. Recovered a fumble last week in the win against North Park. High school male athlete of the year back in his day. Now a junior. 2nd down and 9. St. John looking to throw again with time. Slings it, line drive over the middle.
Pass interference, doesn't it?
Pretty well held on to. There's the flag. That was nearly a tackle.
I was going to say, his route changed before the ball got there. I was assuming we would see a flag, but it just took a second. Hands in the air. Oh, what did I do?
Well, you always plead your case. In reality, probably not a bad penalty, as Frenchco easily could have gotten away if he makes that catch. Ball comes out of St. John's hand very, very quickly. When he triggers it, it goes.
9 of 10 for 129 yards for Carter St. John. Had a touchdown pass called back on penalty. But otherwise, the touchdowns have come by him handing off. Scots have already put up 213 total yards.
With 3:20 to play in the first quarter. Motion from Goralski all the way behind the play. And off Hogan, stutter step in the hole, finds some space. It closes quickly though. And mark him down at the 26, just a gain of 1. Brings up 2nd down after the previous pass interference penalty. Scots have substituted along the offensive line and brought in, I think, that is Przlowski at right guard in place of Gurnick, pardon me. Lauderman, the front of the train on the right with 2 receivers that way to the other direction. High over the middle, leaping catch. Hogan, they try to strip it away from him. The ball is loose. What's the call here? Ball still loose. Manchester falls on it. If that's a completion, then a fumble. It's going to be Manchester ball at the 3, and that is what it is.
Good job to just kind of strip down on the football as Hogan started to try to go towards the end zone, and a turnover saves Manchester here for a moment.
2:44 to play in the first quarter. Manchester will start at its own 3, but trailing 21-0 rather than more. Scots have been, honestly, a little fumble prone in this first quarter. It's the 4th time the ball has ended up on the ground. Twice were on the opening kickoff. Scots a little late to get the defense out, but the ball not signaled ready for play yet, so not going to be a problem. Now we're ready to go. Manchester will bring in a second back in the close quarters. hero of their own end zone. Handed off, still David Smith though, and he crosses the 5 out to the 6 to give the team a little bit of space to maneuver. Anthony Spears makes that stop. And we do see first appearance of the game from Dave Love. Or sorry, no, Jalen is Love. It is, that's backwards, Dave Paul. Second down run up the middle. That ball is loose again, and the Scots are going to try to scoop this one up. Still struggling, though. They may have gotten a little too aggressive. I think Kretschmar is going to get the fumble recovery here.
They were having a terrible time trying to scoop that one up.
Wanted to go with
Spears had it bounce and bounce and bounce, but Kretschmar's got it. Second turnover of the evening for the All-American.
So add his second fumble recovery to the interception. 3 turnovers this season, 6 a year ago. His brother had 2 pick-6 interception returns. The Kretschmar family, they know a thing or two about turnovers.
That's going to set the Scots up 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line, a short field here.
And we see Tyler Walters for the first time at running back. Ogama Heights product, scored a touchdown last year against Manchester. He'll be the subject of a fake on first down. They throw to Lauderman instead, caught at the 2, standing up and pushing his way across the goal line. Another flag, and the Scots are going to have another touchdown taken off the board, maybe, although
Carter
I don't know.
St. John's acting like
so.
Maybe not, so we'll see here.
St. John accepted the teammate boost and ran forward to celebrate, and he's the closest one on the field to where that flag sits at the 20. Let's talk to the referee.
Number 0.
Well, it's a large penalty, 15-yarder for a chop block.
Scots instead will go backwards. So the second time in this first quarter, they have a passing touchdown taken off the board. Lauderman, the victim this time, Johnstone earlier. Block moves it back to the 32-yard line. The first down marker is at the 7.
Just got a chance to see the instant replay, which is brought to you all season long by Betton Baker. And Walters went a little low on his block that he tried out of the backfield there.
Play action fake, thrown right, caught by Goralski at the 28, cuts to the inside, down to the 20, still on his feet, driven out of bounds at the 18. He gets most of the penalty back, and that'll make it about 11 to go. 2nd and 11 now. And Scots look to kick the tempo back up. St. John again looks right, quick throw, caught by Frenchco at the 14 and pushed backwards out of bounds. Whistle didn't really blow. Frenchco knew he was standing out of bounds, so he stopped moving.
They're only going to give him the 16.
Markel Jackson out of Sarasota, Florida on that stop.
Makes it 3rd and 9.
Jackson, a graphic design student at Manchester. 3 wide receivers go left on 3rd and 9. Scots in field goal range late here in the first quarter, leading 21-0. St. John with time, now flushed out of the pocket, running, throws on the run, caught by Lauderman inside the 10. Tries to break out of a tackle. He's very close to the first down marker. This will depend on the spot.
They're going to go for it regardless, I can tell you that.
Little doubt about that.
Oh, a great job by St. John to throw his receiver open that time.
Lauderman led the Scots with 3 receptions.
They are short.
And Alma not going to waste any time to go for it here on 4th down and a yard. Walters is the running back. St. John gives it off to Tyler Walters. Slides to his left.
Did just enough.
Yep.
First down.
First down between the 6 and the 5. Alma was 1 of 1 on 4th down last week. Manchester 3 of 5.
Williams checks back in. Looks like bringing in a up back as well.
Wing over there on the left-hand side. First down and goal from the 5. Williams gets the carry, noses into the hole, spins, stays up, leaning, pushing, not going to get there, but down to about the 2. Got a lot more out of that than you might have expected. Jason Harris, a sophomore linebacker, stood him up initially.
Yeah, they're going to give him all the way down to the 1-yard line.
Drake Jost, who is your wing back. Williams on 2nd down, flag flies at the snap. Williams continues to fight for it, but this
Third
play will not
touchdown
count.
off the board for the Scots, although that one was blown dead
Say,
before
nobody
play
was really
started.
playing other than Williams and whoever was trying to tackle him.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. Second down.
So Alma maybe a little too fast that time. 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. Alma trying to make it 4 first quarter touchdowns, or more like 7 first quarter touchdowns if you don't count the penalties.
They're going to let the time
Clock
expire in the
restarts,
quarter.
And Alma will just change directions, do it at the other end. Coach Jason Couch leading the run to the other direction in the kilt. 21-0 Alma after 1. We'll be back. A 21-point first quarter for the Alma Scots ends inside the 10-yard line, and they'll be trying for more as we get underway here in the second and goal from the 6. But Alma just dominating, but for a couple of miscues, this game could be even more out of hand. Alma with a total yardage edge, Jeff, of 267 to 63.
That's crazy.
In that first quarter.
It was a very successful first quarter. There's not any question about that. And the Scots will be thrilled with the way they've come out playing here.
Alma does win time of possession. Sometimes this is one of those scenarios where you don't because you score so quickly.
Tell you what, Carter St. John making all the right decisions with the football, too. He's 13 of 14 for 176 yards in that first quarter.
Told you a little bit about St. John, a 5'11", 185-pound freshman from Bishop Chatard in Zionsville, Indiana, which is basically a suburb of Indianapolis.
He might have a few more starts in front of him in Scott's uniform.
That's a distinct possibility. Won the state championship as a quarterback as a junior. His team also won as a sophomore. They only went 7-5 during his senior season, but great success before that. During that junior campaign, 2,296 passing yards, 28 touchdowns against only 8 interceptions. And then an additional 510 yards on the ground. Second and goal from the 6 as we start the second quarter. Handoff, Williams nosing his way forward, cuts the yardage in half, down inside the 3. And Williams, the Fraser High School grad, who had 78 yards last weekend, closing in on another touchdown himself. He'll be the running back on third and goal. 2 wide receivers go to the right. Williams shifts behind St. John to the left. Thomas at a wing as an extra blocker, and that's going to pave the road as Eddie Williams plunges across, and the Scots lead at 27-0.
Very impressive drive right there for the Scots, and Williams with a nose for the end zone that time. Just kind of squirted through a small hole and into the end zone. 27-0 Scots.
A lot of times to ring that bell.
Yeah, how do you keep track?
You need one guy down there ringing and another one counting, I think. Hernandez for the extra point. Out of Kruger's hold. Good snap, hold down. This one pooched up through. No problem. 28-0, 14:34 to go just in the second quarter. All Scots here so far. Smith and Paul back deep to return the Kinsvatter kick, which lands on the sideline at the 9-yard line and goes out of bounds. Manchester will start off at the 35, but now facing a 28-0 deficit.
Well, they've got some decent field position here at least. Maybe an opportunity to start to get something going. Well, I'll tell you what, the Scots offense has just shredded up Manchester, and if you're an Alma fan, that's got to be just great to see, because it was the offensive struggles last year that really cost them some games. The defense would create those turnovers, and offensively, there were times where it felt like they just couldn't get a yard.
And certainly, I think that was probably the question mark out of last week as well.
Sure.
Alma only scored 10 points in regulation. Everybody says, okay, Ohio Northern is supposed to be very, very good, but what exactly does that mean? Well, I think we've learned what it means with this 28-point outburst so far. From the 35, Manchester, O'Brien back to throw underneath, off the fingertips of Moss and incomplete. Well covered there.
A couple of Scots linebackers really made him pay for going over the middle.
Yep, making it not a whole lot of fun to be out there. Bennett Hendrickson part of that effort.
Alec Frederick as well.
Frederick from Spring Lake, 2nd down and 10. 14:31 to play in the first half. Alma leads it 28-0. Motion to the left, run up the middle, and no space there. Underhill amongst multiple. Bring down Love on his first carry.
Selma defense is fast, too. And they're subbing in 6, 7, 8 players at a time to stay fresh. And there's zero fall off.
Yeah, I think at this point they recognize that Manchester just can't get the plays in quickly enough to prevent them from doing that.
Scots sure can. One change this year is OC Zach Reitman's down on the sidelines, and he's shooting those plays in a hurry.
Yeah, different set of assistants up here on the roof with us. O'Brien to throw on 2nd down, high over the middle and too far for anybody. Cam Hall intended on that one, but Kretschmar was step for step with him.
3 and out's not what Manchester wanted there. Didn't gain a single yard. And they're going to have to punt it away to Goralski.
Oh, yeah, pardon me. I think I said 2nd down, but that was definitely 3rd. And as Jeff said, that brings Mason back on. Goralski had the nice 17-yard return on his previous effort after fielding it on the bounce. At least showing some pressure. Low snap, Mason scoops it up and just line drives it out of there in a hurry, looking for a forward bounce, which he gets, and it'll go out of bounds around the 30.
Yeah, he was fortunate to get that through a pretty tight window. We've got a flag down here at about the 44-yard line. That's going to be a foul committed after the kick, and not sure what it's going to be exactly.
Shall find out. Scott's assembling the offense.
It's definitely going to be the Scots offense coming out because it was after the ball was punted.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 19. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, Alma.
Well, that'll just give the Scots offense more room to operate.
That's right. Chalk up those yards faster. Alma approaching 300 total yards here, still with 13 minutes and change to go in the 2nd quarter. 28-0 so far. Alma with a whole bucket full of rushing touchdowns.
It's been a fun one so far. Really impressed. Yeah, I was so excited all week to see the Scots play in person after the win last week against a really good Ohio Northern team, and they have lived up to the billing plus quite a lot.
Ryan McNiff on at a wide receiver here as the Scots roll out. Oh, and trouble. Ground ball snap as Alex Dean falls over, and I think he got pushed as Manchester were walking backwards expecting an offsides call.
Dean is pretty confident in it.
Yep. Well, I think he has extra incentive to do so after tumbling over backwards.
Yeah.
Want to make clear that that didn't just happen by accident.
I'm not sure he's ever fired a bad snap back, so.
1st and 5 now after that offside penalty. St. John hands it off. Williams going to have to stiff arm a man in the backfield. Gets to the 30 now, cuts inside. 1st down yardage out to the 35. And more good work by Eddie Williams.
Different level of tailback than what the Scots have shown in the last couple of years. Being able to break that initial tackle in the backfield, Williams just keeping those legs churning.
Well, remember that the Scots have had a horrible time keeping running backs healthy.
Yes.
Brendan Hamilton multiple times as a quick pass and throw out to Jansen on the right perimeter is complete to the 42. Alma continuing to keep this tempo up. 2nd down and 4. Alma nearly ready to go except for Jansen, who's got to get up after being tackled and get into the right spot.
Scoop that and score. It was only an ankle tackle that got him.
Yep, Jalen Dunwoody had the scoop up. I'm pretty sure it was Sanderson who got the initial block.
I think you're right, yeah.
He came through kind of the middle of the line, but you're right. The Scots were around the end as well. You can't really try to direct that as a kicker, but even if Mason could, there was no place to go.
Well, here comes that Scots offense back out again.
Back to Hogan in the backfield this time. Remember, Vern Smith, who's not out there right now, has 3 touches and 3 touchdowns. St. John hands it off to Hogan. With sprints outside to his left, dodges away from 2 players, upended there, and pushed out of bounds at the 36 for a gain of 7.
One thing that has impressed me with the Scots rushing attack so far, Toph, and frankly the passing game too, is the blocking of the wide receivers downfield. A full team effort here.
Right. St. John now on 2nd and short, throws underneath, caught by Frenchco near the line of scrimmage, spinning towards the sideline and hauled out of bounds, but should have the 1st down as Hubbard takes him down, and there is a signal from the linesman. We'll move the chains.
Again, St. John with all day to throw, and he just managed to throw Frenchco open that time.
Alma over on the far side, hash mark, 1st down at their own 39, leading 35-0. Handoff, little delay play up the middle, and pushing the pile forward is Hogan. Give him 6, almost 7 more now, out to the 46.
It's a well-oiled machine here, are the Scots.
Really, it's 32 to play in the 1st half, 35-0, Alma. Still 6:32 huddle. Manchester stopped this one with the Scots motoring downfield once again. 2nd down and 3. Alma just finding pretty easy sledding so far, the offense just churning away yardage left and right. Twin receivers to the right, Frenchco and Goralski. Lauderman comes to the left on 2nd and short. Carter St. John, freshman quarterback, hands off, and Hogan's got a huge hole into Manchester territory. 45 cuts inside at the 40, grabbed at the 32 and guided out of bounds, plus some extra. Oh, takes a hard shot over the bench, pops right back up as the flag flies.
A lot of flags.
Defensive coordinator Ryan Hettinger comes over, and he can't chase Hogan down as he pinballs right through his teammates. He wants right back on the field. But that's going to be 15 bonus yards, courtesy of Josue Castro.
That time it was Lauderman with the block.
Officials will talk this one over, but that's the biggest hole so far that Hogan's had, and you see what he can do when he's got a little bit of space.
Yeah.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, defense number 26, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run.
I don't know why they had to discuss that for very long. Right. That was the easiest one of the day.
Scots will roll out another Youper and Will Burnett into the backfield now. Lauderman from Marquette, Burnett from Menominee. And down to the 17-yard line they go off the penalty. 1st down already leading 35-0. St. John looks left, throws left, going to be dropped. One hand on it from Lauderman, but could not pull that in. hearing some footsteps right behind him.
Yeah, St. John threw a fastball that time.
So a rare incompletion.
Only his second.
16 of 18 now, 241 yards. And the score on the long catch and run by Vern Smith. Nate Webb, who had the touchdown last week, in the right side slot, 4 wide, 2nd and 12. Goralski in motion behind, handoff Burnett coming back to the left. Penetration from multiple Manchester defenders. And Haley Smith made the initial contact. Give credit on the tackle to James Matthews Jr. and a loss of a couple for Burnett.
You're just watching on the YouTube, just watch the play with the late hit. That was very dangerous, the way Williams went over that bench. And it came toppling down. Some excellent camera work to catch that.
Very nice. Rolling right, St. John. Pressure comes from Huffman. Throws behind Webb, who reaches back for a one-handed grab and then spins and gets the first down to about the 8-yard line.
I think so.
Wait for sure on that spot. Might have been a little too generous to Nate Webb, but not too generous on the catch. That was incredible. 4th and short, and Alma's just going to go for it. They don't even want a measurement. They'll hand it off to Burnett and let him try to pick it up. Leaning, stumbling, keeps the knees in the air.
He had to work for it a couple times there, but he got it. First down.
It's interesting. I don't think the Scots got a very good spot.
I don't think they did
play,
either.
But they just want to go up tempo and say, good luck stopping us. 1st and goal at the 6 as the band tunes up behind us for the halftime show. We will have as much of that for you as possible, both on the radio and on the video stream as we can. 1st down and goal for the Scots already with a huge lead. Handoff Burnett, big hole up the middle, bulldozes his way to the 2, gets upended there. Nice tackle by Castro to save the touchdown.
Wholesale changes. This has got to be Rife coming on.
Alma will indeed change it up to David Rife. Frankenmuth product quarterback took the Frankenmuth Eagles to the state championship game. Also scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime last week. Rife with Walters, keeps it himself and finds the end zone, just leaps in. I'm not sure he needed to. That might just have been for style points right up over the top of Haley Smith. And the Scots score again. It's 41-0.
He was moving forward with some authority there.
Big surge from the offensive line again.
Yes, it was.
You see J.B. Couch jogging out to a long snap here. J.B. listed as the 2nd unit center. He is, of course, the oldest son of Jason Couch, the Alma Scots 5th-year head coach. Middle brother Sam had a nice game for the Alma Panthers last night. And Cooper, we, of course, know as well. And extra point up and good. We'll see Cooper in a variety of sports soon enough as he gets a little bit older. Hernandez boots it through 42-0, 4:38 to play in the first half. We'll be back. It's a game that could not have gone much better for the Alma Scots here in the first half. 6 possessions, 6 touchdowns, 42-0. 4:38 to play till halftime as Kinsvatter trying to keep his leg from getting too tired, perhaps fatigued, only gets this one to the 5, where David Smith will bring it out. Chased across the field, upended there and brought down at the 15-yard line.
Hanky down there at about the 33.
Indeed. Ethan Patrick down there, along with Brock Van Manen on the kick coverage. I believe those are shared numbers, so you're never quite sure who you're looking at.
See what this flag's all about.
Flag is far away from where the return went. It's on the near side of the field, whereas Smith ran back towards the Manchester bench.
Asking Scotty Cole, special teams coordinator, what they want to do with it here. And I think he's thinking about maybe kicking it again.
Would you, when you've stopped him at the 18-yard line?
Well, I don't think so. Well, it's during the return.
Kick team.
Oh, well, that's why they're discussing it.
10-yard penalty from the end of the run.
So Alma's kick coverage has illegally blocked a blocker out
That
of
one
the way.
I've not seen before.
It's in the rule book. You don't see it very often, but that will give Manchester an extra 15 and bring them out, or sorry, an extra 10, pardon me, and bring them out to the 28-yard line. 4:32 to go. They moved the ball on their previous possession, but ended up with a field goal attempt that Hunter Sanderson swallowed. Trevor O'Brien continues at quarterback, has to scoop up a very low snap, throws on the run, caught by Powell for a short gain out to the 33. Joseph Powell, one of the best athletes on this Manchester roster. He's a track star for them. The Manchester all-time top 10 in 2 different track events.
Well, that's impressive.
2nd down and 6. Multiple multi-sport athletes at Manchester on this unit. LeSueur for the first down on a quick out as Manchester picks up the tempo themselves a little bit. Spot him at the 42. We go under 4 minutes to play in the half. Sun getting lower, shadows on the field between the goal line and about the 35. So Manchester has moved out into the sun as they move south to north. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right, and a wing on the right. And this will be Hovey with the carry. Cameron Hovey, a sophomore, nothing there for him other than an opportunity to be pushed backwards by Calhoun, along with a couple of other Scots.
Yeah, he was met right at the point of attack there.
Trevor Solani out of Manton in there too. Alma will roll out Big Lance Rademacher out of Powamo, Westphalia. Rare early season loss for P-Dub this year as they continue to find it hard to get non-conference opponents to play them. Thrown out into the flat and incomplete on 2nd and 10. Manchester will have it 3rd and 10 now from the 42. That one looking for Fry. Clock stops with 3:08 to go. Manchester, if nothing else, would like to keep the Scots offense off the field for the remainder of the first half.
First down would be big here, but
Alma doing some more late substituting.
See if they can get some pressure on the quarterback here.
A little bit of confusion now for Alma in their alignment. A big gap up the middle. But Manchester looking to throw on 3rd and long, rolling. O'Brien steps away from pressure, pass tipped and complete anyway. Nice toss
Forward
out there,
progress.
caught by Powell, and they're not a very good spot.
Boy, wow.
Manchester a yard
That's
short.
brutal.
That happens to be directly across from where we
Yes,
are.
it is.
Not quite.
No, that's off by a yard and a half.
Sorry, Joseph.
Scott's got to take a timeout here because they do not have the right personnel on the field.
It will get things stopped. You wouldn't want to do that at the pro level because that'd get that previous play reviewed and it turned into
Yes, it would. It would turn it into a first
down.
down. Keep it right here.
Yeah,
We've used plenty of timeouts in the first half. But, yeah, that was very clearly first down yardage, and they've marked him a full yard short. I don't know if we're going to get a replay or not, but it's a good timeout from Alma, though.
Sure.
Ryan
and
Ettinger out on the field to call that one.
Yeah, if you saw, I mean, obviously the Scots players who were out there played on until the whistle was actually heard, and Hovey picked up the first down easily and would have probably had more.
Almost got them lined up how they want now. And we'll go from here. Scots didn't take very long at all in the timeout. Manchester is making sure they're getting the play right here.
Got a couple seconds to go through some other Alma sports results today. Men's soccer, a winner 2-1 against Anderson. A draw for women's soccer, 2-2 against Worcester. Volleyball dropped its earlier match against Oberlin and was 2-2 against Kenyon when we went on the air playing the 5th set. So we'll check that one for you at halftime. 4th down and 1 for Manchester here, trailing 42-0. Kept by the quarterback and into the arms of Underhill. This is going to be very close as O'Brien tries to do it himself.
Going to depend on the spot. They're going to say first down, though.
And that was actually a personnel change, as that was not O'Brien. They pulled him out for one play.
Based on where it's marked, it's a first down by about the nose of the football.
Colin Turner, a sophomore quarterback, came on and took that carry and got the chains moved. Now O'Brien returns. Powell along with Moss to the right on first down at the Alma 48, 2 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the half. Hovey up the middle. Finds a little bit of space. Calhoun gives chase along with Solani.
Good gain. And this is nice for Manchester to have a little drive here to end the half, keep Alma off the field. As you know, they trail 42-0. They've got to find some positive.
Manchester will also get the ball to start the second half. 1:50 now to play. Hovey again works to his right, stood up at the line of scrimmage, and now 3, 4, 5 Scots eventually will bring him down. Underhill first, Calhoun, Solani again along with Spears. Clock runs, 1:35 to play in the half. Second and 7, Moss subs out. Powell to the top side of the field from our perspective. Fry, the tight end, will take kind of an H-back position on the right. Hovey remains the tailback. O'Brien drops to throw, this time with good protection, but here comes Calhoun. Flushing and spinning as O'Brien now throws underneath. Caught at the first down marker. Nice play there to Cam Hall, pulled out of bounds. Hall was the target on that first passing play of the game where it went off his fingertips and was picked off by Kretschmar.
Yeah, Solani just didn't get a very good route to the ball that time after it was thrown.
Oh, and Solani's all over the place. He's kind of playing run support on some plays. He's been in the backfield, this time back in pass coverage.
Calhoun just about got home there.
Brett Woolsey in as a receiver. And now a timeout called by Manchester. They're going to pause it again with 50 seconds to go in the half. 42-0 Alma will stay put. If you weren't with us earlier, it's been an excellent day for MIAA football teams prior to coming on the air.
That it has.
5 MIAA teams had already won. Trine playing a little bit later. Albion 51-2 over Bluffton. Olivet 54-14 against Eureka. Hope 33-24 against Coe. Kalamazoo 24-14 over Kenyon. And Adrian a 33-0 shutout of Hanover. Just about everything going in the MIAA's direction after they went 6-1 as a conference last week.
Yeah.
See if I can get an update on those volleyball scores. As you hear the announcement over the PA, the Kilty Marching Band almost ready to go. They'll have their new halftime performance to debut. And a big win for Alma Volleyball. They get that 5th set against Kenyon on the road today. So nice victory for Madison Kelsey and her team.
Just taking a look at the Ohio Northern score, they've scored 2 touchdowns in the first 4 minutes of their game today.
Sounds familiar. 16-13 game last week, and both teams lighting it up this week. A double reverse now from Manchester, given off to Hall, loops up the left sideline, gets back to the line of scrimmage. That was about 10 yards deep when the action initially started. Hall picks up 2 after all of the razzle-dazzle.
That was a long run for 2 yards. Clock is running, too, so they're going to have to hustle here.
Yep. Manchester 1 timeout left, 27 seconds and counting, 2nd down and 7, trailing 42-0, but looking to score going into the locker room. O'Brien drops to throw. Pressure comes, gets it away, underthrown, and incomplete at the 15. A diving try from Powell, but he could not get there.
Makes it 3rd and 7, 18 seconds left. They'll have 2 cracks at it here.
At least if they went quickly and picked up the first down,
sure,
they could probably have a third play. But the downs counter is relevant still. They tried a field goal from 38, but Mason had it blocked. He hit from 29 last week. Obviously, a field goal doesn't help much, down by 42. Low snap. O'Brien looks right, going to throw it out into the flat. Caught by Hall, gets away from Solani. Stutter step, stiff arm goes to the outside and then heads to the sideline. That's a good decision. Going to be close to the first down. Clock stopped with 9 seconds. It looks like he's about a yard short based on the far side linesman, but the head linesman hasn't spotted it yet, so let's wait and see.
If they want to pick it up and then call a timeout, they can pretty easily. They do have the 1 timeout left.
And they're going to move the chains.
Yep.
It's a first down. Clock stopped while the chains move. Manchester wants to be ready to go to potentially get 2 plays out of this at the end of the half. From the 22, 2 wide receivers left. O'Brien looks right, waiting in the pocket, taking a lot of time. Now flushed out. Clock down to 4. Throws back of the end zone. Too long. 1 second left. He hit the pylon.
He did.
That was a target in the skills competition. It's a win, but just a little too much looking for Cam Hall. But one more crack, and it looks like we'll see the field goal unit again.
I think they're happy Cam Hall didn't catch that because I'm pretty sure if he did, it was going to be illegal touching because the official's hat went flying at about the 7-yard line to indicate that he had been out of bounds at some point.
I guess the question
or
is
someone had been out of bounds.
The question is whether Hall was the one who was out.
Just kind of looking at the replay there, it might not have been him.
39-yard try for Mason. The last one got blocked. Alma takes time out.
Scots are going to ice the kicker here.
Assume that that is a personnel issue and not just trying to ice the kicker with a 42-0 lead.
Yeah, it looks like Gage Nelson might not have been on the field, and he's asking if he should be. Hard to tell.
Alma will get that sorted out. 1 second to go in the half, 42-0. Scots trying to preserve that shutout into the locker room. They've already gotten 1 blocked field goal to do so. Otherwise, just a very, very impressive, comprehensive is a probably fair term to use.
Yes, it is.
Performance.
It was a great job by the Scots. It's been a lot of fun.
Sanderson and Dunwoody, who were in there on that block and the scoop up of it afterwards, get ready to go. Silverman gets ready to hold at the 29. Mason connected from 29 yards last week and blocked again. The Scots blocked their second field goal and the ball loose. Somebody tried to take a kick at it over there for Manchester. Didn't really want to dive in. And eventually Alma falls on it, and off to halftime we go. 42-0 Alma. We will take a quick break, play a couple of spots, be back, and then play the Kilty Marching Band for you here on 104.9 WQBX and almascots.com. All Alma in the first half, though, 42-0. We will return. Back here at Alma College, before we get to the formal Pizza One halftime report, we want to bring you the Kilty Marching Band performance. They are assembling and tuning up right now. A tremendous first half for the Alma Scots, leading 42-0 against Manchester. Both these teams winners last week, but Alma dominating the action here so far. But we're going to turn you over now to the sounds of halftime. Dave Zerby and his crew just about ready to go, and we will crank up the field mics and bring that to you. If you're tuned in on elmascots.com, you will have video of that performance as well. If you're on the radio, you will at least be able to listen in. And then we will come back, have the full Pizza One halftime report with some halftime stats, scores from around the MIAA, recap of a couple of those other Scots scores from throughout the day. It's been an awfully good day for Scots sports and an awfully good week, including a new record set in women's golf. Everything going right here in Alma as the sun sets over to the west of Balke Field. Here we go with the Kilty Marching Band. They're just about set. A couple of technical issues being worked out. I think we're about ready. They've got a piper right in front getting set. Dave Zerby is on the track with a gaze, and I think that is where the issue comes out. We're going to lose a jacket from the piper. And now I think we're good.
Anniversary production, Ualcus Lynn, Heritage of the Century. The band celebrates its 100th anniversary, Scottish heritage, and propels us into the next 100 years. Please welcome to the field once again, the Kilty Marching Band. band is under the direction of David Zerby and is led on the field by drum majors Kayla Kemp and Jack Latika. Color guard instructor and choreographer Aaron Palma, percussion intern and marching percussion instructor Aaron Krause instruct their respective sections and assist Mr. Zerby with the daily rehearsals. Alma College alumni Justin Rito and Aaron Krause.
The Kilty Marching Band with their halftime performance, always so impressive to see that. I mean, it's September. Those things don't just magically come together. That is hard work over the summer to have that ready to go.
The 100th edition of the Kilty Band.
It's a caliber of performance that you can't find at a lot of bigger schools that you've got right here at Alma College. Also a caliber of performance in the first half from the Scots football team that you can't find at a lot of schools. 42-0 as we welcome you in to the Pizza One halftime report. And Jeff, just a strong performance across the board from the Scots right from the word go. They take the opening kickoff, head to a touchdown, and then add 5 more, force a couple turnovers along the way. Frankly, shot themselves in the foot with a couple of penalties that they bounced back from, also turned it over in the red zone, and still win the first half 42-0.
398 total yards of offense, 21 first downs in the first half. That's a crazy number, 21. 11 of them through the air, 8 on the ground. They've been balanced, 253 yards passing, 145 yards on the ground. There are 0 things you can really get after the Scots about in that first half. They were penalized 7 times for 64 yards. If you need to find something, that's it. But those penalties, a lot of them were just because of the aggression.
Sure. We take a look here, and you'll actually have a performance in the background from Alma College twirler Jordan Freeland. But let's look at some of these individual numbers in the first half. Carter St. John, in just his second collegiate game, his first career start, 17 of 19, 253 yards and a touchdown, another touchdown called back. Eddie Williams, 10 carries, 65 yards, 2 scores. Buddy Hogan, 4 carries, 38 yards. Vern Smith, 2 carries, 35 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 catch for 58 yards and a touchdown.
He's played a perfect day.
Will Burnett finishes up with 3 yards on the ground. Tyler Walters, 2 yards. David Reif, 2 yards and a score. And it's actually an extra carry for Hogan. There's a stat error if you're following on the live stats. So it's actually 5 carries for 39 yards for Hogan, and then Frenchco a carry for a loss of a yard. In the receiving game, multiple players getting into the mix as well. Smith, we told you, the 58-yard touchdown. Nate Webb, 3 grabs for 39. Lauderman, 3 for 36. Cole Thomas, 2 catches for 33. Also recovered a fumble down inside the 10-yard line. Hogan had a 22-yard catch. Tommy Johnstone, a 15-yard catch, and another touchdown that was taken off the board from a penalty. Goralski a grab, Williams a grab. So those 17 completions getting spread around amongst the team. 2 catches for Frenchco. I didn't even have the thing scrolled down all the way, and 1 for Noah Jansen. So everybody getting into the action. And Coach Jason Couch, offensive coordinator Zach Riepma, they've got to just be thrilled by what they're seeing so far.
Well, they certainly do, Toph, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do coming out in the second half. I think you started to see some backups already in the first half, and do you play your starters again? Because that's with a freshman quarterback and a freshman running back, you've got to juggle. How many reps do you want them to get? How much game experience do you want them to get? But then you can't really leave them in too long with as successful as they've been.
Right,
so.
Yeah, you don't want somebody to get hurt. Also, you have an opportunity. It's one of the real challenges that Division III football coaches face is they have these huge rosters and not enough playing time to go around. 159 kids showed up for the first day of practice for the Alma Scots, 80 freshmen. Here's a chance at 42-0 to get a lot of those kids on the field. Everybody got action in the scrimmage against Madonna. But it's still not the same as being out here in an actual collegiate game. So I think Alma will take advantage of that.
Get a lot of guys carries probably.
They've still got 2 non-conference games. They go to Anderson next week. They'll have Martin Luther here for homecoming. And those will be more opportunities to get reps at game speed.
It's a game that the Scots should win against Anderson next week if they play a good football game. And then Martin Luther coming here. Martin Luther's a tough.
Kinsvater on to kick it off as we get ready for second half play, and this one's not going anywhere. 3 yards deep. And 15 minutes on the third quarter clock as we get rolling again with Alma leading 42-0.
Oh, very, very good first half of action. The Manchester was able to move it at times, 149 total yards.
They won't be disappointed in that yardage at all. It just, it just doesn't feel like enough when you've given up 42.
Well, and they weren't able to get any points on the board either with those 149.
They were very balanced last week, 342 yards, 174 on the ground, 168 through the air with O'Brien.
Well, they're 80 and 69 tonight, so that balance continues.
O'Brien continues on at quarterback. I'm curious if we might see Eric James, only because of the number of reps he got last season, whether they might want to tune him up as well. First down from the 25 off the touchback. David Smith, a little fake pass behind him, and he bounces to the left off of, after running out of space near the line of scrimmage, gets chased out of bounds out to the 34. He's a yard short of a first down, but a good play to start the half. And Ethan Patrick, a freshman defensive back out of Portland, in there on the stop.
Now, I think Smith might be their most dangerous weapon. 10 carries, 42 yards in that first half.
83 carries, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, led the team in rushing yards last season. His career long run is 76, so he does have that explosiveness. 18 carries and 3 catches last week. He gets it here on second and short and is going to get just a little bit more than whatever short is. Got the first down by a half a yard.
Give him 2.5.
There you go. And definitely already new personnel out there for the Scots. We'll try to inventory some of that for you. Will Hampton, senior from Chicago, over there at defensive back on the far side. Friedenberg still deep at safety, who had the 2 interceptions last week. First down, play action fake, thrown out into the right flat, caught behind the line of scrimmage. And not much there for Moss.
That's the aforementioned Will Hampton right there, and Moss is not getting up.
Now he will. Just a little gingerly on those legs, but walks to the sideline, pops the helmet off.
Austin Flowers with that tackle for a loss.
Smith out there. I don't know if moisture and sweat is an issue. Smith's got the full towel, and a number of the Manchester players have front towels, but Smith has one in the back. Second down and 12, maybe sweat, though the heat has definitely tailed off. Quick pass dropped, a little too low, almost intercepted
all
on
over the
tip.
place.
Multiple Scots go flying in there, diving for it. That one was rushed a little bit by O'Brien. He gave Bennett Hendrickson a chance at it. Third down and 12. Scots, who substituted liberally in the first half, continue to do so, just with a few new folks. See number 98, Gene Husky IV, out of Eisenhower High School out there. Manchester needs the 46. First possession of the second half, trailing 42-0. Trevor O'Brien at quarterback, drops to throw, takes off up the middle, cuts to his left and runs into traffic at the 40.
He decided pretty early that he was going to keep that one.
Alec Frederick on that stop makes it 4th and 6, and that brings out the punt team. Goralski waiting for confirmation that the punt return unit is also coming on, and they are.
Well, it would be needed in this situation, I would think.
Mason will boot it away. He's been under a fair amount of heat in the first half. The Scots do not rush this one. He drives a liner up the field that lands at the 38, bounces forward down inside the 30. Goralski comes over and just takes a good look at it, but does not do anything. Lets it roll out of bounds at the 24. That's Mason's best punt of the night.
That it is.
And now we survey the offensive huddle and figure out who's
60 guys in there.
Yeah, so I was going to say, there's 11 quarterbacks are available. It is the first team offensive line, and it will be Carter St. John.
I thought
so
they would probably get a
unit
series.
Will get at least one possession here in the second half, yes. 12:40 to go. We had the announcement earlier of the Alma Scots Athletics Hall of Fame class for this year. You can find more info on that at almascots.com. Hand off Hogan on first down. Jukes to his left, gets hit hard out near the 30.
Did take a pop in there, but gained 5 yards.
Hogan's 6th carry of the game. Full first name is Jamarte, goes by Buddy. Grand Rapids Christian product, one of 3 Grand Rapids Christian players on the Scots roster. Quick screen out into the flat on second down, caught but not for much of a gain. Tommy Johnstone, his second reception of the night. Second that'll count. Touchdown got wiped out in the first half.
Gage Kruger saying he was being blocked in the back while trying to throw a block.
We've already seen one defensive illegal block call tonight. 3rd down and 4. Play action, rolling right. St. John tipped in the backfield by Huffman, and that one's incomplete.
Scots are going to get a chance to punt.
Sam Huffman, 6'1", 235, with a little bit of ups there as well.
He did.
And you're right, the first appearance of Caleb Kinsvatter averaged 38 and change punting last week. Pinned the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern inside the 20 twice. Kinsvatter, a huge leg coming out of Petoskey, Indian River native up north. We've seen him on kickoffs tonight. This will be his first appearance in the punt game. David Smith deep to return. No real pressure, driving spiral, takes Smith back to the 31. Fields it, makes a nice move, heads down the sideline, and he'll return that all the way out to the 50.
Well, that was close to being disaster, but because he kind of bobbled it a little bit, but
had one person right there,
he did.
but made the catch and the move all at the same time. 11:37 as Manchester gets it back in a 42-0 game.
It's turned into a phenomenal night for football.
It was 84 when we started, 79 now with a little cool breeze. And a sunset to the west.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the press box is any cooler than it was, but it's awful nice up here, partner.
They've either fixed the air conditioning or given up, as no one's working on it anymore. Hopefully that means it's more pleasant downstairs. First down from midfield, handoff up the middle. Smith plows, just kind of ducks his body and moves in and then moves backwards. His helmet flies off again. No penalty
This time the flag
though.
didn't come in.
So Smith going to have to check out for a
Well,
play.
I think it shook him up a little bit too.
Does look like it. He's going to collect that helmet and walk off as Jalen Love comes on. Clock briefly stopped for an official's timeout. Now they'll wind it. Full reset on the 40-second play clock. One wide receiver right, 2 to the left, along with a wing on 2nd down and 10. O'Brien off a low snap, steps up, rolls to his right, throws on the run into the 2nd level, caught at the 35 of Alma.
Oh, good job to hold on to that one.
Very nice grab down there by Moss.
He got hit hard.
Moss has had a nice game. That's his 4th catch.
Yes, he has.
Not a lot of yardage to show for it. About 25 yards. Once that one gets added to the tally. And a leisurely pace from Manchester, who's more, I think, concerned about putting some points on the board, working on their fundamentals here, trailing by 42. O'Brien, handoff to Love, doesn't find much room in the hole. Thought about going right, then went back into the middle and hauled down there. And
he did turn straight back into that hole.
Was that not J.B. Couch on that tackle? Is that a 62? His jersey is kind of curled up, but
it's definitely a 62.
Is there another 62?
That's going to be Tristan Martin.
Ah, okay. Couch,
Sanford Meridian.
Young man playing in the same place that Couch would, as he played on both sides of the ball in high school. Very successful for Alma High School, but will primarily be a center like his dad here for the Scots this year. Coach Jason Couch was an All-American center. Play action fake for Manchester on 2nd down, rolling back, and O'Brien just has to throw it away under heavy heat from Husky the 4th.
On the sideline of Alma here.
Linesman jogging in a call from the 29-yard line.
Came after the play. There was nobody over here either. Let's see what it is. No flag.
Nothing. We're going to wave this one off.
I wonder if he dropped it.
Provides an explanation of whatever it may have been, does the linesman, and we'll continue on. 3rd down and 8 for Manchester with 9:55 to play in the 3rd quarter. Alma with a 42-0 lead.
Manchester real slow to get this play in here. They're going to get to it before too long at least.
12 on the play clock as they set at the line of scrimmage. Should be able to get it off without too much trouble. Brian calls for the snap, hands off Love up the middle, and multiple Scots there to meet him. A short gain, but nowhere near enough. 4th down and 6 coming. And I would assume after 2 blocked field goals and a huge deficit that Manchester will just go for this.
You have to think so. Scott's defense kind of swarming here on a couple of these more recent runs.
Coach Nate Jensen patrolling the sidelines, his 7th season with Manchester. Wife Missy is here today. She's in the Manchester Athletics Hall of Fame as a soccer player. Nate went to Defiance back in his collegiate days. 4th down and 7. O'Brien takes off out of the pocket, and a leaping tackle stops him short of the first down. And
Cole Conchar.
Indeed. And Manchester turns it over on downs.
A good stand for Alma there defensively.
Yep.
Preserves the shutout.
And Alma definitely rotating the defensive
Oh, yes.
personnel, getting lots of guys reps. As the offense now will roll out midway through the 3rd.
Concar, a junior DB out of Draper, Utah, but that's a name we've called in the past, so not too deep on the roster for that one.
Scots came on with one too many. Hogan comes out as Walters is on as the running back. 3 wide receivers go to the left. St. John looks, pumps, throws, caught underneath. Jansen, first down, stiff arm, and off he goes all the way to midfield. And Noah Jansen to the 48 of Manchester before they can bring him down.
St. John approaching 300 yards passing now.
And Alma going to keep the tempo up. McNiff in the slot to the right, Jansen out wide. Fake to Walters, pass left, bobbled and dropped by Cole Thomas. Got a shove from Castro as he was trying to pull that in. Good defensive play.
Scots are going to give some teams some trouble with this tempo.
Alma's got Joey Shallow out of Rochester Adams in there as a wide receiver on the left. And you're right, certainly not going to be able to adjust your personnel when the Scots get moving. And off on 2nd down to Walters, wrapped up by Huffman. Sam Huffman is having a terrific defensive game for Manchester. Hard to feel like you're having a great defensive game when your team's given up 42 points.
But really,
but
he has.
He has been in a lot of places.
3rd down and 10, though, for the Scots here.
Rolling right. St. John just going to lob it out of bounds on 3rd and long. Nobody open. Pressure was coming.
Caught by Hunter Smith over there, who signals first down.
Yes. Hunter Smith is a defensive player out of Breckenridge.
Yes.
Who was definitely not part of the play. But I like the first down signal nonetheless.
It's easier to have fun when you're up 42-0.
Is a fair statement.
19-24 for Carter St. John for 278 yards and a touchdown. So he may come up just shy of that 300-yard mark.
Julian Malasco, the long snapper on, as Alma will punt it away on 4th and 10 with Kinsvatter. No pressure, high hanging kick this time, short. And Smith's going to let it land at the 21, bounces forward. The Scots in a committee around it, let it roll. Do a little 2-step to avoid touching it too quickly, and all in all, finds its way to the 16.
Another good punt by Kinsvatter.
32 yards, no return. I think he is somebody that will develop into a weapon in games where maybe the Scots don't put 42 on the board in the first half.
Oh, that is true. They've got a real nice weapon in Kinsvatter, along with having Hernandez as the place kicker, because Kinsvatter can place kick as well.
That's true. Hit a 43-yarder last year. So if they needed him to, he's certainly available for that role. Smith back out there at running back for Manchester, trailing 42-0. Manchester's had a pair of field goal attempts, both blocked by the Scots. 8:08 to play in the 3rd. Smith trying to get outside to the left, gets away from Calhoun, but chased right into the arms of multiple Scots defenders. And this play only goes backwards. They'll mark him at the 12.
For those of you who are Michigan football fans, I have good news for you. Appalachian State has beaten number 6 Texas A&M, so perhaps that loss will not be talked about as much anymore 15 years later.
Michigan fans for years and years to come.
Well, now it'll be talked about to the misery of Jimbo Fisher as well.
Thing is, Appalachian State has moved up
They're
division-wise now as well. Up the middle for Manchester, and a big hole for Smith on 2nd and long. Crosses the 20 out to the 23. Does not have the first down, but it'll make it 3rd and about 3.
He went with a little stutter step in there.
He did. Fresh off his sideline reception of sorts, Hunter Smith checks into the game along the defensive line for Alma.
Let's see if he can make a play here on 3rd and 3.
His Breckenridge Huskies got a big 8-player football win against Montebello last night. Breckenridge making the transition to 8-man football this season.
Yeah, that was a
2-1 start.
Previously 2-0 Montebello team. And Breckenridge has to get those wins to make the playoffs because they play in an absolutely brutal conference.
Very much so. Rolling right on third down, thrown, caught out in the flat by Moss, and he'll speed to the first down out at the 33. Manchester gets a fresh set of downs.
All sorts of new personnel coming in again for the Scots.
Getting reports, in addition for Michigan fans, that the game down in Ann Arbor is in a weather delay. So no weather here.
Certainly no weather here, no. Yeah,
Apparently
delayed due to inclement weather.
You don't want to see that in your 8 o'clock start.
No, that gets pretty late.
Remember a game between Michigan and Western Michigan where the weather delay came midway through and they decided that they were just done. Smith on first down goes left, takes off into the second level. The Scots try to strip the football, and that allows Smith to run right through it. He'll cross midfield out to the 48 of Alma. Maybe a little too aggressive going for the football. Could have had that for about a 7-yard gain, and instead turns into double digits.
Smith's a heck of a runner. He's asking for a break right now, which I can understand after that one. That towel of his goes almost down to his ankles.
He could go to the beach.
Easily.
.5:35 to go in the third, 42-0 Alma. Hovey in there, Cameron Hovey picks up maybe a half a yard if he's lucky.
Nice job by Berger to get in there.
Alma continuing to roll the personnel in and out. Hovey out of Sheridan, Indiana, a 5'10", 200-pound sophomore. Played basketball and also wrestled in high school.
No gain on the play will be second down and 10.
Second down and 10. Manchester sends Hall in motion, play fake, thrown into the slot, caught by LeSueur. Can he break the tackle? No. That was a potentially touchdown saver out there. Nice work by the Scots secretary and Zach Kobia, junior out of Brighton.
Manchester on the move.
They've driven just past this point on the field twice, leading to the 2 blocked field goals. 3 wide receivers, 2 right, 1 left. As Trevor O'Brien, the sophomore Floridian, brings them to the line. Motion from Fry, the tight end, slides into a wing position on the left. Straight drop, thrown high up over the top, and nobody there. That was dangerous. The Scots had 3 defensive backs in the vicinity as they looked for Brett Woolsey.
Gurdon had the best shot at it.
Second down coming up. Clock stops with 4:17 to go. The sun has officially disappeared behind the trees, just kind of a glow on the western horizon. Now you can see the Alma College Chapel to our southwest. Some renovations ongoing there that they hope to have done before homecoming in 2 weeks. Handoff up the middle on 2nd and 10. Hovey with a good burst down to the 30. That's a pickup of 5. 42-0 Alma trying to preserve that shutout. Manchester certainly wanting to put something on the board here to make the 4-hour bus ride home not feel quite so long. Alma will have its road night game next week at Anderson, another 6 o'clock kickoff down in Indiana for the Scots. 3rd down and 5. Hall in motion, a little forward toss, so this counts as a pass. Takes forward, that ball is loose in there. Everybody's scrambling for it. The Scots say they've got it. Right at the first down
If they
marker.
do, I think it's Martin that's got it.
Cam Hall got separated from the football. Alma, of course, signaling they have it, but that's mandatory that you do that. But they are right. Alma forces another turnover, and they've got it back.
That was Tristan Martin down there. I'm quite certain on the bottom of that pile.
So Alma with an interception and a couple of fumble recoveries. Remember, last year they had forced 10 turnovers through 2 weeks, but that's 6 already this season.
Pace is slow.
Yes, hard to get to 40.
Really is.
We'll continue to monitor the personnel. Looks like it will be Reif at quarterback. Frankenmuth product. Now try out this sort of semi-wildcat as they want to use him primarily as a runner. But Reif certainly capable of throwing if the Scots want to. He's going to hand off to Will Burnett instead on first down, and the UP product burst to his left out to the 30. That's good for a gain of 5 as we approach the final 3 minutes of this third quarter.
Pretty good there from Burnett.
William Burnett with the carry.
Scots hustle up to
Go
the line of
quickly here.
scrimmage. McNiff sliding into position in the top side slot. Reif going to throw with a little bit of a sidearm, and it's intercepted. This is Markel Jackson down the sideline to his left inside the 20. Reif will get over and make the tackle and make sure that he hasn't thrown a pick 6. But Reif may have telegraphed that one a little bit.
That was what I was going to say as well.
Jackson out of Manatee High School, who's got 11.9 speed in the 100 meters, made a jump on it and picked that one off, and now Manchester is in business to put some points on the board.
Well, that they are. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 13 for Manchester, looking to go in here, and the Scots defense will be called on to preserve this shutout.
A little bit of a gut check time, and that's probably a good thing for the Scots to give them something to raise the intensity level in a 42-0 game here in the second half. And they better hustle because Manchester is already on the field. Here come the Scots. Calhoun now out there along the defensive line. Almost all second unit players will be called upon to preserve the shutout. Moss in motion, play fake. O'Brien over the middle, just too high for LeSueur off his fingertips. Alma had a crack at that one afterwards.
Patrick Coughlin. I think.
Substitutions.
Yep.
2nd and 10, Manchester can get a first down at about the 3. Exactly 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. LeSueur to the left. Moss in the slot now goes in motion to the right. Handoff Smith goes into the middle. Nothing there. Stutter steps now tries the middle again. It opens up a little down to the 10.
He stopped a few times.
Give him 3. Alma comes out of there with a big battle.
Flags
They're
going
fighting for the
everywhere
ball.
now.
And definitely some unhappy. That was long after the action of the play was done that all of a sudden.
I saw
emotions
Calhoun getting Bennett
soared.
Hendrickson out of there in kind of a bear hug.
Flags are down. There's not a lot of yardage to move towards the end zone if it is only a Scots penalty.
Coach Ettinger is indicating that it's only a Manchester penalty, so we'll see if that's correct or not.
See, the Scots were definitely amped up in there, but we did not have a good look at how that began. 2:50 to go in the third, 42-0 Alma. Manchester with the ball off of an interception. Here we go.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 45. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 1. Those penalties will offset.
Alrighty.
That is the first unsportsmanlike conduct for both of those players.
Jackson and Smith both flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct, so the penalties offset. It'll just be 3rd down and 7 from the 10.
It was Hendrickson for the Scots. 45 instead
not
of 44.
Sorry, good catch. Good catch. Jalen Love comes on as the tailback offset and a step and a half behind where O'Brien is lined up in the shotgun here on 3rd down. O'Brien straightaway drop, rolling right. Close to a hold, and it is a hold.
Yeah.
O'Brien's going to try to run for it. He'll be upended at the 7, and this will be an interesting decision. 4th down and 3 from the 7, but I think the Scots will take the deep hold back at the 19.
It was pretty easy to see from up here that it was a holding penalty.
Holding. Offense number 79. 10-yard
Yeah.
penalty for the previous spot. Repeat.
Kind of had him right up around the collar, don't you think?
Yeah, well, you said last night that the easiest way to diagnose a holding penalty is when someone takes their hands off and holds them up in the air to say I didn't do anything.
I did say that.
And that was pretty much exactly what we saw there from Leon Williams, the right tackle.
I'll back him up to the 20.
I believe that was Evan Eastman trying to get around the left end of the Scots defensive line that drew that hold, so give him credit if the Scots are able to slam the door here now on 3rd and 17. Love remains the tailback, 3 wide receivers available. They'll hand it off to Love, try to get him on a cutback lane, and there is nothing there. Eastman makes that stop along with some friends, and now 4th down back at the 20. Will Manchester try its third field goal tonight after having 2 blocked? No movement from the sideline yet.
It's 4th and very long here.
First down markers at the 3.
Some personnel changes, but I don't think that's a field goal kicker.
Don't think so. You watch for the holder, who is number 13, that's Silverman, and he has not come on. O'Brien stays out there, so Manchester going to go for it.
Only 10 on the play clock.
Good point. They are set, though. 4 wide on 4th down and 16. Straightaway drop, heaving it for the end zone. Over in the corner, got a man open, leaping. The Scots get there, but interference. Not a terrible interference penalty, as they were beaten over in the corner of the end zone looking for Hall.
Joseph Gonzalez going to get charged.
Gonzalez out of St. Charles took a swat.
Didn't get turned around in time.
We're so used to seeing Brady Duma out there at number 16, who had 2 picks in this game last year. But it'll be 15 for free and a first down for Manchester, but not a touchdown yet. And while that ball was in the air, it looked like that probably had touchdown written all over it.
Good throw, good route. Call it 1st and goal, and we'll see where they mark it. Looks like it's going to be about the 6-yard line.
Manchester will change the personnel again a little bit.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
15 yards from the previous spot, which was at about the
21.
Yeah, so the 6 is what we should get out of this. Gabe Melvin in as a wide receiver. He's way to the top side of the field. From our perspective, one-on-one coverage way to the left. That'd be a long throw to get it down there. And Jalen Love is the tailback. As Manchester has it 1st and goal, trying to get on the board, trailing 42-0. Love gets the first crack. No, play action fake, rolling right, throwing deep, and receiver may have broken off the route, but that was a throwaway once I see where the ball landed. As Melvin got kind of tangled up in the Scots secondary, and Manchester elects to see another play.
Wise to do there, I'd say.
.122 left in the third quarter, pardon me. Still 42-0. We've not had any scoring in this third quarter. Manchester knocking on the doorstep here after this interception and then the eventual Scots pass interference penalty. Almost a pistol alignment this time. Motion across to the left, play action again, slung over the middle and caught for the touchdown by Gabe Melvin, and Manchester is on the board.
Good throw.
Yeah, O'Brien zinged that one in there. Nice little route. Tough for the Scots to do much about that. So Manchester takes advantage of the turnover and the penalty. Gets on the board 42-6. Mason, who made a couple of PATs last week, 2 of 3, had his first one blocked.
That was Gabe Melvin with the catch.
And he boots this one up and through without issue. 42-7, 1:17 to play in the third. We'll be back right after this. Minute and 17 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Scots football on Q104.9 WQBX and streaming live at almascots.com. And Alma a little bit suspicious that funny business could be afoot as Manchester gets on the board 42-7. Alma's going to put 6 players up front. A couple of new return men deep. And Mason will just kick it away. And the Scots bring it out from the 10. Outside 20, a little stutter step inside and brought down out at the 29-yard line.
KJ Williams on the return.
KJ out of Grosse Pointe North. And we'll see if this is now time that we start to see some new faces for the Scots offensively. We had Reif at quarterback on the previous possession.
It was Reif and Burnett on the previous possession. I see Burnett headed back out there, and Reif as well.
Reif threw the interception and made the tackle. Gage Kruger amongst the receivers, split wide to the right.
Dominic Overway over there, listed as a tight end, but he's split out wide left.
Johnstone as well. Option play kept by Reif into the middle of the hole. Gets a good push from Przlowski. Give him 4 out to about the 34. 2nd and 6. Final minute now of the third. Jaquan Williams on the stop for Manchester. 2nd down and 6. Reif from the gun. Hands off Burnett, trying to sweep it around the right side. Cut back lane, has some space. 40, then upended there, but gets the first down. Nice hard run from Will Burnett.
Got a good seal block that time. Yeah, by Hayden Harper, I guess.
What's the number?
79. There are 2 offensive linemen.
No, that's Gernick. That's Gernick in there at right tackle now. Sidearm slinger. Well, actually, you could be right. If they're both offensive linemen, you might be right. Although the Scots have made some changes along the front. They had the starters out there to start the half, but you actually may be absolutely
It's one
right.
or the other.
Well, I think the more I look, the more I think you're right, because Gernick's a guard this year. And this is right tackle. 2nd down and 10, 29 seconds left in the quarter. Burnett in a lot of trouble in the backfield. Nothing he could have done there. Trying to get out of harm's way.
Oh, Reif going to get another opportunity to throw here.
Matthews makes that tackle first amongst a variety of Manchester Spartans, and that will do it for the third quarter. 10 seconds to run off, but the Scots no need to run a play. They'll spin to the other end, take a 42-7 lead to the final 15 minutes. We'll have it for you right after this. Third down and 11 to start the fourth. Screen pass thrown out to the left to Johnstone, who sprints up the sideline, crosses midfield, and picks up the first down. Nice play by the Midland High School product there. If you were watching on the video, you saw the national champion Scots dance team perform there between the quarters as Burnett now gets it on first down, and he's got a big hole. That'll be another first down to the 34. If you're watching on the video, you also know that I called the previous play a bit after it happened.
Fair enough.
They were quick between the quarters, and talking about quick, the Scots, even with this backup offensive unit, quickly to the line. Burnett again between the center and guard, steps right down to the 31. 4 more for Will Burnett.
Moving pretty quickly are the Scots here again.
You've done a couple of coaches shows with Coach Couch. Did he talk about tempo as a focus?
Not a lot, a little bit. Something that they wanted to do last year, I know, and just never got a lot of chances to.
Maybe something that they've discovered. 8 carries now for Burnett, 30 yards. This will be Reif behind, cuts right, and ducks into some traffic. Brought down at about the 28, and that will be enough for a first down. Jansen and Johnstone wide to the left, Kruger to the right. Rife play action, throws right into the flat, just out of the reach of the tight end. Could not find Dominic Overway out there. Rife 1 of 3 through the air now. We'll see Drake Jost come in, Roscommon product. Recruited in a way by Evan Mativa. Scots need to watch out. They've got the receiver covered up here. Potential illegal downfield, but they're going to run instead with Burnett, which will be fine. He sweeps to the right, cuts across the 20 down to the 16. But that same problem that happened in the first half just happened again with Kruger and Jansen both on the line of scrimmage, which would have turned Kruger into an ineligible receiver had that been a downfield passing play.
Burnett looking pretty solid on this drive.
Very much so. 13-15 left here, fourth quarter, 42-7 Scots, but they're looking for more. Rife at quarterback, pulls it back for himself, cuts up the middle. Wow, whirligig up over the top. A full forward somersault. Nearly lands on his feet. Jaquan Williams on that stop, down to about the 12. That play was more Simone Biles than Dick Butkus.
No doubt about that.
Good enough for a Scots first down at the 13. Rife to Burnett on first down, runs right down the hash mark, steps right at the 5, going to try to dig for the end zone, and it's a Will Burnett. Scots score. 48-7 as the Scots add some second half points to the first half explosion.
Oh, what a drive for Burnett.
And we'll see potentially a change in the kicking game to an unrostered player.
I think that it is probably Bryce Kemp, if I had to make a guess.
Well, we know you've never been wrong before. But number 91, which is a different roster number on for the PAT. And one step and a delivery is good. Oh, the Scots make it 49-7, 12:42 still to play. We'll be back. Bryce Kemp confirmed as the PAT kicker. Jeff was absolutely right. Kinsvatter will still handle the kickoff, drives this one right to the goal line, and Manchester rolls it out from there. Outside at the 15, and the Scots hem in who I believe is Melvin. I think that's that same number 2. Oh, it's number 2, but it could be the other number 2. I think it is Melvin, though. Could also be Timmy Bozeman, a senior safety.
Going to get another unsportsmanlike here on the Scots. This one's going to be on Westman.
Microphone not on for the official this time, but Scots do contribute 15 yards worth of charity after the whistle there. Have something being counted down in the student section. If that's push-ups, that's a lot of them to do 49.
Get pretty tired up there in the band.
I went to law school. We had to do push-ups in the Notre Dame student section. I made sure that if I was doing them, I was on the first touchdown of the game, while I might still have a chance to finish.
Report from our normal man on the sideline, Craig Compton, says he's in a monsoon down at the big house and just got enough service to see the Scots score, and he was blown away by it.
Well, there you go. It does sound like the weather not so great down there in Ann Arbor. Of course, a rough day in South Bend, mentioning Notre Dame football, as they fall to Marshall 26-21. So an 0-2 start for the Irish. Play action fake, thrown, caught by Melvin, slips a tackle, and another at midfield, now off to the races, and a good shoestring grab brings him down at the 43. But Gabe Melvin making a strong claim to some additional playing time in this Manchester offense.
Delici saved a touchdown there.
You are right about that. Dave Paul, the Michigan product in the backfield. We saw him briefly in the first half for Manchester, but more of him now. First down, Manchester trailing 49-7. Paul gets the carry right into the middle, squirts through a very narrow opening, a quick burst down to the 37. Nice little pickup there on first down, give him 6.
Joshua Groves, a freshman out of St. Francis, with the tackle. Another new face in there.
Dave Paul out of Annapolis High School down in Dearborn. His high school coach said he was the smartest player on the team. 33 carries for 48 yards last season. Now a junior. He's there again, but a little touch pass on the toss to Moss, trying to get outside to the left after coming out of the right-hand slot, slides down to the 36, but that's only a pickup of 1. Clock continues to roll with 11:15 to go in this one.
Moss has got plenty of speed.
Scots looking like it will be back-to-back 2-0 starts. It was a 4-0 start last season before coming back here, running into Olivet on homecoming. Eventually 5-1 start for Alma before a 5-5 ultimate finish. Paul takes a nice cut to the left on third down, picks up the first down and then some across the 25 down to the 22 into the Scots secondary. Moves the chains once again. Manchester looking to score its second touchdown here of the second half.
Manchester still got their starting offensive line in there, just going with some different skill position players, still running behind the likes of big Jacob Pills out of Astronaut High School in Titusville, Florida.
Some big kids down there. That offensive line averages 301 pounds. Paul again, stutter step, goes left from the 23 across the 20 to the 19, and another late flag. That one came from deep over on the far sideline.
See what they call here.
Stops the clock with 10:26 to play in the fourth. Alma with a 42-point lead. They'll head to Anderson next week, also for a 6 o'clock start, just like tonight. Then back here in 2 weeks, homecoming against Martin Luther, a day game.
The only thing I can think of is that they're going to call targeting on that tackle.
It's over on the far side from us. We didn't really see it.
I just watched it on the stream, and it didn't look like it to me. It looked like he got him in the back. But a long discussion over here as to what it's going to be. Very long discussion as to what it's going to be.
Band getting a chance for a lot of percussion. I don't know if Dave Zerbe's taught him the Jeopardy theme, but that might be next if we don't get the answer soon. Teams will turn this into a de facto timeout. Talk things over. The official picks up the flag, but not a wave off.
Hopefully his microphone's working now. We'll see.
There is no foul of the play. Second down.
Well, that's kind of what I thought too. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that would have resulted in a foul.
Yeah, I don't know. It came from very deep, from the official back on the goal line, not from the head linesman. Makes it second down and 6 from the 19-yard line. O'Brien stands back on his 24. Hand off to Paul, trying to get outside of the right, and that is not going to happen. Backwards is the only direction that play went. A loss of a couple that easily could have been more, but for the forward progress rule. And that's Yachuk, first one through to make that stop.
Had him big time in the backfield.
Under 10 minutes to go. Third down and 12. O'Brien now back at his 30 in the shotgun. First down marker at the 13. Under pressure. Just going to drop it off on a check down and sidearmed it outside of the reach of Paul. Paul was not going to go far anyway. And now 4th and 12.
I think they're going to go for it.
They're bringing a couple new faces in, but one of those is Melvin, who caught the touchdown. So I think that's just a change of offensive units. Scott's assistant coaches negotiating the most difficult part of the night, getting down the ladder off the press box, as they're going to call the rest of the game on the sideline.
Brought in a massive tight end at tailback in Justin Abigam.
Oh, yes, Abiagam.
Abiagam.
Yep, 4 syllables. That's one I got from Coach Jensen before the game.
As was smart of you.
4th down and 12. O'Brien rolling right under a lot of pressure. A flag down behind the play as one of the Scots defensive linemen basically got hog-tied.
Well,
and
they're going to be able to decline it because he slid down short of the first down.
Ryan with a slide into second, safe at the 20-yard line, but the first down marker at the 13. So this one wouldn't have counted anyway.
No, self-preservation there.
Number 11. That penalty is declined.
Abiago, the aforementioned.
Yep. So Alma takes over on downs now with 9:24 to go. Time for another personnel check, and I think we've got a new face. Olisic on first down, hands off up the middle. And a short pickup there. And that'll be Brendan Coulter out of Roscommon, a junior. Scott's able to get a lot of players action here.
Roscommon Bucks on the roster.
Indeed. Almost made it a focus under Coach Couch to recruit Northern Michigan. On their way up there, you've got Kinsvatter out of Petoskey High School, a couple from Roscommon, as you see, yards short though. Now a timeout called. I don't think the Scots are calling this to help us, but
no,
they are going to figure out exactly who they want out here for this punt attempt.
Well, we'll find out.
It's a safe bet that Bryce Kempf did one of those 2 things out of Traverse City St. Francis.
Absolutely.
So he's either going to have a punt or an extra point under his belt. The Scots with a number of kickers on the roster. Kinsvatter, of course, can place kick as well as punt. Mason Stambaugh out of Alma High School, a local Gratiot County scholarship winner on the roster. Stambaugh, who made 4 field goals for Alma High School as a senior last year. I think, Jeff, this is Kempf, because Kempf is 6'5", 230, and that's about what you're looking at out there.
That's what I was looking for.
And the previous extra point was
previous man was about 6'8", 130.
Yeah, and booms, a high spiral fair catch signaled and made back at the 27. Good work by Kempf. So we don't know who made the extra point.
It wasn't Mason Stambaugh, who's also listed as a kicker.
Right, we know Stambaugh from his football days at Alma High School and his basketball days. Would have been able to recognize him.
That's our man right there.
Out of Livonia Stevenson. So we're going to give him credit with the previous extra point, doing our best guess research up here on the roof.
Well, the ball almost went right through his hands, so that's what cued me in.
But that is, it's interesting. That appears to be a 16 to me. They have no 16 on the roster. There's a 15 who we expected in Eric James. So I assume that is actually who we're looking at.
I think it's got to be.
Unless they have brought Aurelius English, who's listed as a cornerback in. But I think that's probably Eric James, who hands off now on 2nd and 2.
I think that would be highly unusual if that was the case.
Run up the middle for Hovey. Out to the 31, brings up 3rd down. Student section hanging around through this one. Impressive. Does help that it's a beautiful night. But 49-7, and this game was 42-0 at the half. Manchester again taking its time. Make sure to get the play calls in. I admit I was disappointed. Former offensive coordinator, we'll get to this in a second, a fumble on the snap as James falls on it, but Manchester used to have one of the best names in D3 assistant coaches in Vince Cashdollar on the staff, but he is at Emporia State now.
Down in Kansas.
Chuck Arrett is your offensive coordinator now for Manchester. I assume that's how that's pronounced, E-H-R-E-T, which I would think if they went to a high-flying offense, they'd say they were going to air it out. And that's the jokes you get at 49-7 in the 4th quarter.
Not very good.
Definitely not. Punt unit on for Manchester off the side of Mason's foot. Out of bounds from the 46. to the 50. We're going to very quickly find out whether or not my sister is still watching the stream, because there will be complaints on my phone momentarily for that one if she is.
As there should be.
4:45 to play for the Scots as they get ready to pick up victory number 2 on the season. Oh, and a penalty.
Return team, number 94, 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, Alma.
Scots, we were a little late to get the mic on there, but that was a personal foul on the Scots for a backside block on the punt return. And that will be one thing that Coach Couch will not be thrilled about, is the number of penalties that the Scots have committed tonight. You mentioned at halftime that a number of them have been, for lack of a better term, good penalties, penalties from playing aggressive rather than being tentative and so forth. But the Scots have shot themselves in the foot for too many penalty yards. If this had been a close game from the start, if they didn't have that early cushion, they would not feel good about that. Olisic on first down, hands off to another new running back. Into the middle of the hole goes Bryce Morgan.
It was Brian Morgan there out of Houghton Lake.
Brian Morgan, yep, pardon me, good catch. So yet another Jack Pine area product. One of has Houghton Lake or Roscommon left the Jack Pine?
I think
when
they
Shepard
may both
came in,
have
there
left
was
the Jack Pine.
There was some rotation in the Jack Pine personnel, but at least historically, Jack Pine teams. Olisic on second down and 10, a short shotgun. Hands off. And Morgan out to the 40 this time for a pickup of about 4, almost the 41. And yes, there it is, a chorus of boos coming in on my phone, so as expected and well earned. Third down and 4. Scots will try to keep this unit out there a little bit longer.
Joey Shallow out there wide to the right.
Third down and 3. We'll see if Olisic gets the green light to throw. Nope, we'll give it to Morgan again. And a nice burst, first down yardage and more into Manchester territory, driving the legs
he is.
down to the 43-yard line.
That's what you want to see when you get to about your 4th back coming in the game, is somebody that wants it, really wants it. He's beyond the 4th back in the game, frankly.
Right. And we've talked about that, though, that health has been an issue for the Scots in the backfield for a long time, really going all the way back until you get back to Caleb Reinard, who was pretty durable. But beyond that, the Scots have had a hard time keeping somebody on the field for a full season. First down from the 43. And off going left with Morgan. Cut back lane and another burst across the 40. Trying to drag out of his jersey. 25-20 down the sideline and driven out of bounds. Down the sideline.
Well, if the Scots get in here, it's going to be Stambaugh to attempt the extra point, I believe.
Two wide receivers to the right. Williams to the left. Olisic takes the snap, hands off. Morgan, who has controlled this drive, gets spun around at the line of scrimmage, leans forward to the 10, 4 more yards, 2:15 and counting, as Alma looks to jump over the 50-point mark, which they did against Anderson last year, but looking to do it again in the early going this season. Plenty of time taken, 20 on the play clock. Been all Brian Morgan on this drive, and he's probably earned the chance to try to finish it off. Play action fake this time, thrown out in the right flat. Oh my gracious, and planted is Matthew Ames from Utica Eisenhower.
Yeah, Joey Shallow was meant to throw a block there and just missed it.
And welcome to game action.
Yeah.
Ames does well to hang on to that one. Lee on the tackle.
Yeah, it goes in the book as a reception for him.
Minute and 18, third down and 5 for Alma. They can get a first down without scoring. The ball is at the 9. Over on the right hash mark, 2 wide receivers go left. Morgan gets the carry up the middle. Should have the first down as he leaps to the 4. A 2-footed hurdle over the line down to the 4-yard line. We'll wait officially.
I wonder.
This is very close on the first down.
The Scots will kneel this one now. Kind of a strange spot, though.
Sometimes teams will do that. On the other hand, sometimes teams will say, hey, these kids haven't scored tonight.
Exactly.
50 seconds.
And there's the V.
Now, the clock is running, as it was a first down, and they don't have chains to move because it's goal to go. They just set the downs marker. So Alma only has to snap it once more, and Olesic will get to do that and take a knee in victory as a freshman. A freshman started the game, a freshman finished it, and in between, the Scots put 49 on the board and ran away from Manchester 49-7. We'll take a quick break, come back with a post-game show. Congratulations to Jason Couch and the Scots, winners for the second time this year, off to a 2-0 start. Back with a post